Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to class, everyone. Welcome to class. I don't know if you guys can hear me today because for a couple of days now we've been struggling with sound. And then it's so sad. It is so sad, not just sad, but also annoying that we've been struggling with sound because I've tried to like teach a lot of things in this class for the couple of days now, and no message is going across to you guys. It is very sad. Okay, even this right now. Please drop comments in the comment section. Let me know if you can hear me. Let me know if you can hear me, guys. Please comment in the comment section. Drop some comments. Let me know if you can hear me. Right, welcome to class. Welcome to class. Do we have anyone there? Anyone at all? Welcome to class, guys. Hi guys, yeah, you're welcome to class today. Um, yeah, Lawan, thank you, Lawan. You're welcome to class. You've been very active. I really appreciate the fact that you're here again today. It's not really been easy, with the technical issues that we've been going through in the recent time. Good evening, Aisha. Welcome to class. All right, welcome to class, Mary. Welcome to class. Welcome. Yeah, about that, Lawan, we are going to go over that topic briefly again today, but we don't have much time to talk about Flexbox again. So what I'm going to do is I will make sure that we talk about Bootstrap well enough, like we go in depth on Bootstrap today, and that is because with Bootstrap you'll be able to build websites anyway. Uh, the Flexbox, unfortunately, you would have to like learn more of it by yourself. I'll provide resources for you. I provided a link in the last video as well. I'm sorry there was no audio or sound on it, but I provided a link in there that you can click, and then in that link you'll be able to learn more about Flexbox. Unfortunately, that's the situation of things. I've been struggling with my mic. I don't even know what is the issue. I changed internet connection, got a new mic. Done a lot of things to make sure that we don't have issues with sound. But it's just the same situation over and over again. That's why I choose to take the class again and make sure that today's class is live, so I can monitor and see everything happen live to make sure that you guys can actually hear me and we're getting value out of the class. All right. So I'm just going to pop up my slide quickly. Hello guys, yeah, I'm back again. I'm sorry, I think there's just a constant issue with opening slide. I think slide is the issue. So I think slide is the issue, so we might have to skip using slide for this class. Okay. So if I just share my screen, however, we still need to share our screen and hopefully that does not break the sound as well. Right, yeah, thank you, Lawan. So yeah, it is a shame, it is a shame the software that we are using for the management of the studio and YouTube. It is a shame that this is happening because this is a paid it's called StreamYard. It is a shame. StreamYard is delivering poorly. Like it's a paid service, a premium service. We're supposed to not we are not supposed to be having these issues. I don't know what's the issue with sound is. All right, so I'm not going to share slides then. So what I'm going to just try to do is that um, what I'm going to do is I'm going to share my screen anyway. So I'm sharing my screen right now. At any point in time, if you stop, if you cannot hear me again, so I'm not going to use slides. I'm going to just talk all through and share my screen. So at any point in time, if you cannot hear me with if you cannot hear me with the share screen as well, please let me know so we can fix it quickly. Because trust me, guys, we are behind. We are behind. All right. So I'm listening to myself as well, just to make sure that everything I'm saying, you guys can actually hear everything that I am saying. Right. Or maybe we can open the slide on this share screen and just open it as a PowerPoint. You guys may struggle to see it a bit, right? But that looks fine anyway. That would work. All right. All right. So this would work. This would work. I think we have a solution, guys. This would work. Okay. So today we are talking about Bootstrap. Thank you, living like Jesus. Thank you. Thank you. It's good to know that you guys can hear me now. Thank you. All right. Before we dive into talking about Bootstrap anyway, I would like to apologize to you guys. We have really missed out a lot in this class. Like I tried to the previous live classes we've had issues with sound. The class that I recorded for you guys yesterday, there was no sound as well. So the issue of sound have just been back to back, and that's why I just made sure that we are having a class today, and then it's going to be live, and then we have to fix the issue of sound because we need to finish the class, and then you guys get value out of it as well. Welcome to class, Williams. It's nice having you in class again today. All right. So in the last class, I talked about Flexbox. Unfortunately, you guys did not. You guys cannot hear me in that last class. So I will just do a quick summary of the things that I talked about in the last class, which was about Flexbox anyway. But what I did in that video was that I attached a link where you can learn more about Flexbox. I attached a link in the description of that video. So in your free time, if you can go to that link and then learn more about Flexbox through by reading the document in that link. But I'll just give you a quick summary so we can go into Bootstrap because Bootstrap is the major thing that would help you build a website. And we hopefully today as well before the end of this class. This class may last up to 2 hours, guys. But before the end of this class, I hope we will be able to build a very simple website, a one-page website uh, that you are going to that you can re-edit for your final project, which is just next week. So technically, by attending this class today, and then if you code as I code, you follow the steps that you follow the steps that I'll walk you through today, you should be able to have a website for your final project already. And all you just have to do for the final project will just be to re-edit the website, change the images, change the text to fit in the project that you guys come up with in your team. So let's talk about Flexbox then. Let's talk about Flexbox. A quick summary from the last class. So basically, there are different concepts, or there are different ways to create layouts around the website, around websites. Before now, you've heard me, talk about things like the box module, where I told you that a website is basically just like a big box with several other boxes living inside of it. So a good way to think of any website is just to look at it like a box, and then every other layout of the website is just like several other boxes living inside it. And I showed you an example when we started this program. I showed you an example of the Lagos-based website where I showed you how elements are just like boxes living in several other elements or several other boxes. Right. So for you to be able to create those boxes and then put the layout where you want to put it, you need CSS, because that is what CSS is going to help you with. But within CSS as well, there are some concepts or some set of properties and CSS declarations that you can make that would actually help you to create those layouts. And one of them is this concept of Flexbox. Another one is called CSS grid. So the CSS grid and then there's Flexbox. Both concepts are used to create layouts around the website, and then they are all based on the CSS language anyway. Um, while CSS Flexbox and CSS Grid are like properties and a set of like declarations and everything like that used to create a layout around the website. Bootstrap is not a specific set of properties or values or anything like that. By now I'm sure you know what CSS properties, CSS values, I'm sure you know what they are. Even though you don't know all of them yet, but now I'm sure you know what they are. At the end of this class, there's a Google Classroom again now, guys. Maybe it would be a good idea to just let me drop the, all right, so at the end of this class, I will drop the stream link for our Google Classroom. I'll drop the stream link for our Google Classroom in the community WhatsApp group and in the description of this video. So guys, you can log in, join the Google Classroom to submit your project so far, and then submit every other thing as well. And inside that Google Classroom as well, you'll be able to see all the resources. So I'm going to attach the code. So the last class where there was no sound, the source code, the code of um, of the website that I built in that class is in the Google Classroom now, so you can go there, download it, and do whatever you want with it. However, that is not a good website, and I don't think that particular website will be good for your final project. But the one we are going to build today, we are going to build it with Bootstrap, and we are going to try as much as possible to make it, suit your final project. Right. So we have a Google Classroom. I'm going to link it, and then you find all of the necessary materials in there in the Google Classroom. I'll update it with several other materials that would be useful for you to learn more about CSS and several CSS properties and values as well. Welcome to class, Ido. Welcome to class. All right. So let's just do a quick summary of of what Flexbox is all about, and then we can go into today's topic, which is Bootstrap. So Flexbox and CSS Grid are the two major concepts used to create a set of properties and values that are used to write CSS declarations to create layouts around the website. And for Flexbox to work, it has all right. So let me go to the documentation and then show you what I'm trying to say. Because since we cannot have a full slide, perhaps it would be a good idea show you the documentation. At any point in time, guys, at any point in time, if you cannot hear me, please let me know so I can, go back into what I'm trying to say and make sure that we don't miss out on anything. All right, so this website is called developer.mozilla.org, and then this particular website have like different references and documentation for several codes. So if you want to learn how to code, but you want to like read what the code actually does, this website, this MDN, it's called Mozilla Developer Note. That's not the full meaning, but it's called MDN Web Docs anyway. And then it is like a library for web developers. So if you want to learn anything about any code, you can come to this website, and then it will give you a full overview of what the code and everything is all about. So today we want to use this website to give you a quick summary of what Flexbox is all about. If I can just find Flexbox around on the website. All right, so I think they have something on the box module as well. Let's see if okay. Let's see if there's anything that can help. Okay, so I've been talking about the box module, uh, ever since in the beginning of this class, and basically a website is a set of like big box with several other boxes that live inside it, and those boxes are basically just elements. So this diagram here kind of like show would kind of like explain that as well. And as you can see here, we can say this is like a whole website or the browser, and then this is like the website, and then with several other content living inside of it. So I think the concept of box module is quite clear to you guys, and there may not be a reason, or there may not be a need for us to go back to what box module and everything is all about. So let's just talk about Flexbox, guys. Let's talk about Flexbox. Okay, so quick one on Flexbox, because we don't have much time to waste on Flexbox as well. To create a Flexbox, um, to use Flexbox, the first thing you need to do is that you want to have you want to declare your CSS section, or whichever way you want to write the CSS. Maybe you want to use ID or class, or you want to style the actual element tag itself. I told you how to, I've explained how to use CSS before in the previous class, right? So for Flexbox, the first thing you want to do is to call this CSS property called display, and then you want to enter value as flex. So immediately you do that, you are telling your computer, or you are telling your computer, or you are telling the internet whenever the website pops up, that the layout of that website is created with Flexbox. So this is more or less like the on switch. This is more or less like the on switch for Flexbox. You need this property to actually start working with Flexbox. With the concept of Flexbox, and then the concept of the box module as well that we have been talking about so far in this class. With Flexbox, it comes in like two major areas. So it comes in like they call it axis. So it can be like the main axis and then cross axis. This may be a little bit confusing for you right now. I'm trying out my best as much as possible to think of a way to like break it down and then make sure that you guys would really understand it. But however, if you don't understand what I'm saying, don't worry much about it. Just come back to this document. By the time you read it, you would have a better understanding. But I'll give you a quick rundown so we can move into Bootstrap. Right. So Flexbox come in two major axes, and then this, if you've done maths before now, I'm sure you are aware of like the grid, or maybe like graph where you have like y and x axis. It is something similar to that, like Y and X axis. So it is something similar to that. In the case of Flexbox, so first off, when you declare your display as Flex to, serve as the on switch to start using Flexbox, there are several other properties that you can use as well. Let me go to the previous website that we created for using Flexbox. So I can give you a quick rundown with our own code and not just all those jargons that they have in there. What they have in there is great. Uh, right, what they have in there is great, but what we want is something that you can look at, read, and immediately understand. All right, so in the last class, I built this dummy website called for banana bread recipe. Let me open that website and then just show you the code, and I can quickly explain everything that's happening around the code to you. So this was the website that I built in the last class. Unfortunately, you guys could not hear me, so you don't know anything that was going on around there anyway. So I'll do a quick summary so we can move into Bootstrap. Right. So to start with, the first thing that we would usually do when we're creating a website, create the index page, index.html. And then I already introduced external CSS to you and how to link external CSS style sheet. So, what I did again was to create a style sheet. So with Flexbox, earlier on, I was just saying to start using Flexbox, you need to declare the display. This is like the on switch to start using Flexbox. So you need to declare a property called display and then enter value as flex. So this is like on switch. I want to use Flexbox. Right. So let's assume you create your HTML structure. You have your HTML boilerplate in there. The title tag is in there. You have linked your style sheets. By now, guys, you know how to link style sheets. And then in the output of that website, we have the navigation bar. All right. So this is where things start to get interesting. So initially in that video, this particular navigation bar would not be at the center of the page. So by default, when you're writing a content or you write HTML structure or element, it will not be at the center of the page. It will not be styled anywhere. It would always be by the left. It would always start by the left. So all of this content as well, it would not be in rows like this. Everything is going to be in columns, and then they will always be by the left. So how do we style it then? And this is where Flexbox come into play. So if you notice here, we have a class, a CSS class called navigation. Let's go into our CSS and then see what we declared into that navigation class. All right, so it is very simple. We are not using Flexbox in this navigation class. We only declared position. We've talked about position in this class before, and then we put in height and width and margin. So no Flexbox around there. There's nothing to see. It is nothing new that you don't know already. But then inside that navigation bar, we have container one, and then this our container one is what we are using Flexbox for. So I've already explained what this particular set of code would do or is doing, which is basically the on switch. Yeah, I mean, yes. The last class we could not hear anything yet. Thank you for mentioning again, and that's why I'm doing a quick rundown of the last class, what Flexbox is all about. But really, Bootstrap is what you really need to build website these days. You don't really even need to understand much of Flexbox and Hi guys, please let me know if you can hear me. Hi guys, please let me know if you can hear me. Let me know if you can hear me again. Shit loud. Yeah, Chioma said yes. Thank you, Chioma. Thank you for confirming. Thank you for confirming, Chioma. All right, that's good. It's good to know you guys can hear me. Please, can someone else confirm that you? Okay, Amina says you can hear me. Okay, fine. Well, we back online. So I was just trying to explain how Flexbox works. The display flex, that is the on switch for Flexbox. You know that already. Another important property when it comes to Flexbox is this flex direction. Okay, and then this flex direction can have four major values. The first one is row. So the flex direction can either be a row or it can be a row reverse. And I'll explain what row reverse will do in a minute to you. It can be a colon, column, or colon reverse. Yeah. So flex direction can either be a row reverse or colon colon reverse. But for this website, we declared flex direction as a row. So what's the difference between these four values of flex direction then? And what is flex direction itself? Right. So when it comes to the concept of building websites, it is good to think of it like things that are like maybe horizontal and vertical. And basically as well, just like how you would use maybe your spreadsheet, you have like a whole cell and then you have like rows, or maybe the way you would use a table, you have like rows and column. Rows and column, it is the literal meaning in English is basically, the concept around here. And when we go into Bootstrap, you find out like, you would get the idea of rows and column around building websites, how the whole concept of rows and column really applies in building websites. But for Flexbox, how does rows and column come to play? Uh, this applies to the axis of Flexbox that I'm trying to explain to you, and I'm still thinking of a better way to break it down to you guys to make sure that it's easy to digest for you guys. Okay, so if we look at the website that we built, right? So we declared this as a row. We declared this particular navigation bar as a row, and what that means is that the content of this navigation bar, Flexbox or the computer is going to interpret the content of this section as a row. So any declaration that I put in into that class, which is this class in here, is going to apply to the thing. It's going to look at it as a row, and then yeah, it's going to look at it as a row and apply those declaration based on what is applicable to rows, what is applicable to Flexbox rows. So there are some set of CSS properties in Flexbox that is only applicable to Flexbox rows. And there are some other set of properties that is only applicable to Flexbox columns. So that is why, that is the difference between the two concepts, and that is why it is important for you to know how you want your contents in this case element, your element or your flex direction, how you want it to go. So this is for putting content in rows. The flex direction is for putting content in rows. And you can also use it to put content in columns. If you use it to put content in rows, any declaration that you give or any further declaration that you put under it have to be set of declaration or set of properties that is applicable to rows. So for example now, this justify content, what this justify content is doing in this website is that by default, okay, you know what, let us take it away and see what it does. Let us take this justify content away for a minute. Let us save that because you are not in class, so you would not see. And let us refresh our website. So immediately what you see is that this has gone back to the default settings, or the way this would work by default, which is that every element would always start from the left. And as you can see here, I took away the justify content center, and I'm just trying to explain to you that justify content center property only works with row, and I would make that make sense in a bit as well, and introduce another property, Flexbox property, that only works with colon. We are getting there, guys. I'm trying. I think I'm breaking it down gradually now. All right. So let us put that justify content center back there and see the way it would behave again one more time. So let us refresh that page again. So basically with the output now, you can see what the justify content center is doing. It is bringing the elements of your website to the center. So that is what it's doing. But in this case now, there's another property called align items center. Yeah, align items. And then you can enter for justify content as well, there are multiple values that you can put in there. So if you put justify content center, it would put your content at the center of the website. There's another one called maybe justify content end, and then it will take your content, it will shift it to the end of the website. However, unfortunately, we won't be able to go into all of those values just because we don't have the time. So it is something you would have to read up on yourself. But it is interesting that at least the properties exist, and then you know what it can do. There's another property called align item center, and this is where I would be able to show you the difference between the flex direction, rows and column. Okay, so uh, this property justify content is only applicable to Flexbox. Yeah, let me make sure I'm trying to. Yeah, it's only applicable to rows, to the flex direction rows. Why this align item center is only applicable to columns. So now, what does this align item center? What does it do? Let's go back into our code. You know what? Let's take away justify content center. Let's take it away from there, and let's save it. And let's leave that align item center there. Let's refresh the page. So what you notice right now is that let's take away the align items as well. And let's see what the default would be. Mm, This Flexbox explanation is going to be over soon, guys, so we can move into Bootstrap. Right. So what you notice is that the align item center does not really make any difference between um, in the code. But maybe, all right. Let's put it back. Save. Go back to that page and refresh it just to make sure. Right, so it's still the same result. It's not making any difference in the code. So let's change this to colon and see maybe it's going to do anything at all. All right. So immediately, what you notice right now is that it is putting our content in like in when we change it to colon, yeah, it is putting contents that by default it would be in rows. By default, anchor tag again is in rows. We talked about inline and block elements, guys. By default, anchor tag is in rows and not a colon. But because we defined flex direction as colon right now, it's changed the direction of that of the element to colon, which is in this case colon in this case. And also we define that align items is center, and then it's putting the elements in the center as well. It's kind of like I put them in the center, right? So you see, I removed the align item center now. The items that were in the center, they've gone back to the default. So when I remove align item center, the items that or the elements that were in the center, they moved to the default position, which is the left. So all I'm trying to say here, guys, is that to start using Flexbox, first you use the on switch, which is display flex, and then one of the major properties or common properties in Flexbox is this flex direction, and then it is the one that you would use to determine if you want your element to be aligned as a row or a column. So if there's any element that by default it is a row or inline element, it would change to block element. In this case, the anchor tag. But that is just a tag. It can work with different tags in different ways. But a good way to think of it is that flex direction would make things go in colon, and if you say flex direction colon, it will make it go in colon. If you say flex direction row, it will make it go in row. And then we have another set of property called justify content. These justify contents have several values, which you can see right here. Visual Studio Code is giving us those value example. But the one that we used in the last class was justify content center. And this justify content center only work with row. And then there's another one called align items property, and then it has its own set of values as well that are similar to justify content. But these align items only work with colons. Only works with colons. So the concept, with the little thing that I've been able to explain right now, the concept of Flexbox, it should kind of like paint a picture in you guys' head. The concept of Flexbox should, kind of like at least paint a picture in you guys' head. Unfortunately, we won't be able to deep dive into Flexbox, so you guys can have a great understanding of it and everything. Just because of the situation of things at hand, we have limited time. So with all of that said, let's go into Bootstrap, guys. I don't think we should waste much time on Flexbox because I don't think you will get much value out of it. So I think that's a quick summary of what I did in the last class. Every other thing, every other property that I used in there is just the same. So the last class is gone. Just forget about it and let's move on. However, the code is available in the Google Classroom and then you can get it. But that's a quick summary of the last class. So let's go into Bootstrap, guys. This is where things start to get interesting. If you guys are still with me, drop the fire emoji. Anyone, if you're excited, and then you're ready to create a website with Bootstrap, drop the fire emoji. Bootstrap is a very easy tool to use, interesting as well. Let me know if you guys can still hear me in the comment section, and let's go into Bootstrap. Let's go into Bootstrap. Anyone, fire emoji. Thank you, Williams. Thank you, Williams. Fire emoji. It's good to know you can still hear me, Williams. Thank you. All right. So Bootstrap, guys. Bootstrap. This is where things start to get interesting. Bootstrap, guys. So to start with, what I want you to do is to go into your go into your folder that you've been using all this while, yeah? The folder that you've been using all this while, go into it, go into that folder. Okay, so I don't know if you guys can see my screen better now. And then I just want you to create a new folder, and call that folder one page website. I want you guys to create a new folder and call that folder one page website. So when you create a new folder and call it one page website as usual, guys, go into your Visual Studio Code and then open the folder. Open the new folder called one page website like that in your Visual Studio Code. So when you open that folder in your Visual Studio Code, I tried to pre-record the class, guys, for you guys, but unfortunately that class did not have sound either, so that's why we're doing this live today. Yeah, thank you for the fire emojis, guys. I can see the fire emojis. I can see crying emoji as well, Chioma. What's going on? Thank you, thank you. It's good to know you guys are still listening. Right, so we're getting somewhere. Things are about to get interesting now. All right, so what I want you to do after you open that one page website, first thing is to create a new file, the standard index.html file. Just create the file. Don't fill the HTML boilerplate in there. Let it be empty. So just create the file. Create the file. Chema said it's a mistake. All right, it's good to know, Chema. It's good to know you're following. I know it is not. Everything is not sounding like Arabic to your ears. So create a new file called index.html. Yeah. So when you create that new file called index.html, before now we put HTML boilerplates in there. So, but this time around, I want you to leave it empty. And then inside that one page website, create new folders. You use this icon to create new folders. Create a new folder called CSS, and then create another folder again called JS. So when you create the new folders, they should look like this. This will look like this. So with this now, I'm trying to introduce you guys to the way you should arrange your files when you start developing websites. So when you start developing websites, you want to arrange your files this way. All your CSS style sheets, you want them to be in one folder called CSS. By default, this is how not by default, but standard practice or best practice. This is how most developers would do it. Create a new folder, put all your CSS style sheets in one folder. Create a new folder, put all your JavaScript scripts in one folder. So we want two folders, one called CSS and the other one called JS. And then we want a file called index.html. So just leave everything empty once you do that. Once that is done, then I want you to open your CSS folder. Make sure you click it, and then inside it, click on this once you click that folder, click on that create new file icon and then create a new file inside that CSS folder. The new file, I want you to call it style.css. So this is our first style sheet, style.css. And once you create the style.css file, leave it empty as well. Don't fill anything in there. So once that is done, I want you to go to this website called getbootstrap.com. If you cannot type it out, just Google Bootstrap. Just Google, getbootstrap.com or just Google Bootstrap, and then you should somehow see this page. You should somehow find this website. So once you land there, I want you to click on Docs. Once you land there, it should look like this. It should look like this, and then find this. You can either click on Docs or find this download button. Find this download button there. I think that's a good one. So once you land on the website, find this download button, click it, and then it should bring you to this page, and then you should have another download button where you can download all your Bootstrap file. So just download the file. For me, I have downloaded it already, so I don't need folder. Sorry, I downloaded the folder already, so I don't need to download it again. All right. So once your download is complete, I want you to go to wherever the downloaded file is, which in this case it is in my own download section. and maybe just move it to the folder that you've been using. If it is in your download section, just move it to the folder that you've been using to create websites all this while. Right. One in there already. All right. So once you have your folder where you want it to be, or once you have your folder in that place, where you have all of the files that you've been working with all this while, extract the folder, extract the folder, unzip it or extract it. For me, I've done that already, so I don't have to do it all over again. So once you extract it, it should look like this. And then inside it, what we are trying to do right now, guys, is that we are trying to install Bootstrap. We are trying to install Bootstrap so we can use Bootstrap on in our for our projects, the project that we're trying to build right now. Okay, right. So once you extract it, and then you click inside the folder, you should have these two files in there. One is JS and then the other one is CSS. I want you to click on the CSS, yeah, and then I want you to find this particular file called bootstrap.min. Bootstrap.min. It should be the third file, maybe as well. It should be the third file. Find the file called bootstrap.min, and then all I want you to do is that open your Visual Studio Code as well in the background, and then open the file, the other folder for your Bootstrap on top. So basically, what we want to do is to move that or copy that bootstrap.min file, that particular bootstrap.min file, and then copy it inside your CSS folder. In this case, mine is there already, so I don't have to copy it all over again. Once you copy it, it should open this kind of tab for you. Just close it. So once you copy that file inside your CSS folder, you should have it there like this. You should have it there like this, and then you should have all of this code written in there. So just close it because we don't need to open it anyway. So that is that for the CSS. For the JS, which is JavaScript, scroll down again, and then I think it is the third one as well. You want to find this file called bootstrap.bundle.min.js. So click the third file, and then drop it inside your JS folder. In this case, I already have mine in there, so I don't need to repeat the process. So what you've just done is that you've successfully installed Bootstrap into your local folder, and this way you'll be able to use Bootstrap to develop your website. So if you guys are following me so far, if that is clear, please just drop a comment section, clear, 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 and let me know if that process is clear before we move on. Because if this first process is not clear, then every other thing that we're about to do today is going to be a total waste of time because you won't be able to achieve anything. If that process is clear, please just drop clear, and if you guys can still hear me, please just drop clear. Let me be rest assured that you guys can hear me, and even if you don't understand, you can come back to rewatch the video anyway. Okay, so once you manage to do that, once you manage to install it, now let us talk about Bootstrap itself. Now that we've installed Bootstrap, and then we're going to talk about the ways to install Bootstrap, which is one of the process that we just did. And there are other ways to install Bootstrap as well to use Bootstrap. But to start with, Bootstrap itself, what is Bootstrap? It is a popular CSS framework, and then a framework just basically means like a set of library, or no, sorry, it kind of means like a library or a set of documents or a set of code that have been created by people before now for other people to use. So basically, when we are writing code, you will notice that we were creating classes and everything like that. So with Bootstrap is like something similar to that. They are like, several set of classes and several set of codes and several set of properties and everything that people have written in the past, a particular company, which is Twitter in this case. So Twitter created this framework called Bootstrap, Twitter, which is now X. So I think they created this framework called Bootstrap, and they were using it for their own website and everything. But now it is public, and it is like the standard one, not the standard, but one of the major or most popular framework that people use in creating layouts for websites. So that is like a quick history of Bootstrap itself and what Bootstrap is itself. So Bootstrap would allow you to create layouts on your around your website. And then why would anyone want to use Bootstrap? Basically, it helps you save time. It would help you create consistent design around your website. It is responsive, and responsive in this case basically means like, you can use it on multiple devices. So this be your tablet, your phone, your desktop, and so on and so forth. And then, it is very popular, of course. It is widely used around the industry. So how do you get started with Bootstrap then? How do you get started? There are two major ways to install Bootstrap. The first one is what we just did. We managed to install Bootstrap using Bootstrap files. And then there's another method called CDN. And then using the CDN to link Bootstrap is basically attaching. It is something similar to the if you guys can remember when we were talking about HTML images or HTML image tag, we linked image in two ways. One, we linked image from our local folder in our computer, and then we linked it through a link on the internet. So it is the same way, yeah, guys. It is the same kind of concept, yeah. But in this case, it is called a CDN. You can read more on CDN if you don't know much about CDN. Um, I don't expect you to know much about CDN, so I'm not going to bore you with what CDN is all about. You can read more about it later on in your free time. But however, a good way to understand it is that, the concept of linking Bootstrap to CDN through CDN, it is similar to the way that we linked images on the internet. So basically, there's like a URL that you copy and then you put it as your source, and that is just going to work. However, the downside to using CDN or using that link is that you need internet for you to be able to build websites. So without internet, you will not be able to build a website. You cannot create a website locally in your device without using that CDN link. All right. So to start with right now, what I want you to do once you get to that Bootstrap website, click on Docs, which is Document, and then copy this HTML boilerplate in there. So if you remember earlier on, I said you should leave the index file. You should leave it empty, and this is the reason. So click on the HTML boilerplate that Bootstrap have. You don't have to create anything from scratch. And then go to our empty index file that we have. Why is this one in there? Did I paste it just now? All right. So I think I created something yesterday when I was trying to pre-record the class. So I'm just going to delete everything away and paste the right. So paste the copied Bootstrap the Bootstrap boilerplate, HTML boilerplate that you copied from Bootstrap, paste it in there. So this is the CDN that I was just talking about, guys. If you can remember, when we were talking about external CSS, I said if you want to link external CSS, first thing you write this link tag, and then you declare the source for your external CSS, uh, and then source for the external CSS when using a link tag. You would have to use this href and not source, similar to how you link maybe script or images. So you use href to link external style sheets, guys. So in there you put the link to the CDN, to the Bootstrap CDN, which in this case is this one. And then by default as well, you have this other attributes in there. Okay, so that is how you link Bootstrap using CDN. However, this is not the method we want to use because I want you to be able to build a website without internet. So let us clear out that link. Let's clear out that link. Let's clear out the other attribute as well. So I want you to write real equals to and then style sheet. And in here, which is the href, I want you to copy on, you don't even need to copy. So all you need to do is just write the name of that file in there. So if you manage to write this, the name of the file in there, what I would like to introduce to you again, I'll talk to you about is like folder paths when creating websites. So if you know this already, or if you notice, you see that okay, we wrote our style.css here, and there's no part in front of it. There's nothing in front of it. So if you do this, this is not correct. This style sheet would not be linked to your website. It will break. So the correct way to do this is to follow the same path that the file is living in your main website folder. So in this case, this style.css file is living within CSS, is living within inside the CSS folder. So all you have to do is to just put a forward slash and then write CSS, which is the name of the folder where the style sheet lives. So if you do this, now it should be correct. So we are trying to link this file called style.css, and then it is living within this CSS folder. So that's how you do it, guys. That's how you link external style sheet again. So the next thing I want you to do is for us to link the JavaScript that we downloaded as well. And to do that, all we want to do is to clear out the CDN link again and remove the attribute as well. Make sure you don't miss any of your quotation marks. And then in between those quotation marks, just put the name of your JavaScript file in there. So a good way, or maybe a easy method, would be to right click and then click on rename and then highlight everything. Make sure you don't change the name. Highlight everything and copy it. Go back to your HTML document and paste the name of the file in there as the source. So again, guys, if you do this, the name is correct, but the file that you are trying to, or the folder that you are trying to point to where the file lives in, is not correct. So again, what you need to do is to put the forward slash in there and then put JS. So basically what you're doing right here is that you're saying you want to link this Bootstrap file, bootstrap bundle.main.js, which lives inside the JS folder. So the bootstrap.main the bootstrap bundle.main.js file, it is not living directly inside our one page website folder. It is living inside the JS folder that lives inside the uh, one page website folder. So if you do this, now the path should be correct. So let's save that as well. All right, so the other thing that is interesting that I would like to introduce here that Bootstrap have not really done is that so by standard practice, most people put JavaScript, most people link JavaScript at the bottom of your website page. And why is because JavaScript sometimes kind of like make the website slow. That is why most people put it there. But however, you can put it in the head, and then you use this attribute called defer. Right. And if you just highlight it, let us see what that defer attribute is doing. So basically, it is a JavaScript attribute, and then basically, what it's going to do is that it is going to load all of the elements, other elements around your website before it would load that JavaScript file, because JavaScript again makes websites slow. Okay, with that said, we save it. The next thing we want to do right now, okay? So, sorry guys, let's change the name, or let's change the title of the website. Let's change it away from this Bootstrap demo to one-page website. Again, guys, I'm trying to build a website from scratch in this class, while I teach you along as well. And then this website is going to help you. You can re-edit it for your final project, but you cannot re-edit if you don't understand uh, the code. And that is why you need to watch this class and attend this class for you to understand the code, and most importantly learn how to use Bootstrap as well. So we're getting there, guys. Just be patient with me. This class may last up to 2 hours, but I promise you're going to get value out of it. All right. So what have we done so far? What did we manage to do so far? If you guys can, if you All right. If you guys can still hear me in the comment section, please drop fire emoji, guys. Drop fire emoji. Let me know you guys can still hear me, and I'm not just talking to myself. So anyone at all, I just need two people or one person. Lawan, Williams, anybody at all. Just drop the fire emoji or anything in the comment section. Thank you, Chioma. Thank you, Chioma. Fire emoji. Thank you. All right. It's good to know you guys can still hear me, and then you guys are still following. Thank you. Okay, so what we managed to do so far is that we managed to link our Bootstrap files, and then I explained the process of linking Bootstrap file to you. I said there are two major ways you can link Bootstrap file. You can either use the internet method, which is using the CDN, and then you put in the URL in there. But however, you won't be able to build your website without internet, because the the websites the websites where the file would live in, it would have to be pulled from the internet. So basically, that's just the logic explains it anyway. It explains itself. But however, you can just download the file, which is what we've done. So we downloaded the file, install into our folder, so we can use it locally. Okay, so we managed to install our Bootstrap file. It is in place. And then we copied our boilerplate as well from the Bootstrap website. And now we changed the title of the website from what was there before uh, to the one-page website. And as well, we linked the file that we downloaded. We linked it into our HTML document. So now everything seems like it is ready now. Everything seems like it is ready now. So we have our foundations. We have everything in place, ready to use. So we are ready to use Bootstrap now. And let's just start using it here. Let us go into it once and for all. Let us start with Bootstrap. Let us build a website with Bootstrap. Okay, let us build a website with Bootstrap. All right, so this is the website we're trying to build. What we have so far is the hello world that we can see here in the element. So to start with, let's go to our Bootstrap document. Let's work with that. Or let's look at the slide, and then let me see if there's any other important thing. All right, so this is important. The grid system. I've been talking about before we go into Bootstrap layouts. It is important for you to understand the grid system. Yeah, it is important to understand the grid system, and then uh, responsive design. And I'm going to use the document, the Bootstrap document as well, maybe another resource online to show you what the grid system is. Okay, so let's just do a quick Google and let me see if I can find the perfect image uh, to explain what the grid system is for you. Just a minute, guys. A very good way to understand this is what I'm looking for. I don't like what this website is giving me. Let me see images from Google. I think this should be a good image. Not really. Okay. Right. So yeah, this is a very good image to explain grid. Right. Right. Okay. So guys, um, grid system, and this is from Mozilla Docs as well. So that's a reliable source. All right. So basically, what is grid system? What is CSS grid? So every website on every website out there works on the principles of this grid system. And what does that mean? It is like a division of your device screen into like 12 places, and then each no, into like 12 cells. Let's say cells. If you've used spreadsheet before, again, you are familiar with the concept of like cells and columns and things like that. So uh, or maybe if you've done mathematics before now, and then you have like a graph, you have those little boxes and everything. So in this case, it is like we have, let us think of it like we have 12 boxes. Let me just count it: 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12. Yeah, that's correct. So the grid is like a set of 12 boxes. Every computer screen or every device screen is divided into 12 boxes. So for example now, this old website that we see here, you can imagine or think of it like it is divided, splitted into 12 boxes. So let's say this is like box 1, box 2, box 3, and so on and so forth, like that, around the website. So each space or each box like that of the website, contains like 2%. 2%, it contains 2 units of 12. So, 2 plus 2, 4, and then plus another 2, 6, and so on and so forth, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, like that until it is 12. So this is the first box or the first grid. It is 2. The second grid is 2 as well. The third grid is 2. But everything all together, these 3 grids all together that I've mentioned now, would be 6 grid. They will be 6 grid together. So the first one is 2. The second one is 2. Each one is 2. Yeah. Each one of those boxes, is 2. So a grid comes in 2. Um, each box is 2. But this box plus this box equals 4. So this is four grids together. And then these 2 plus another 2 here makes 6 grid, and so on and so forth, like that until it gets to 12. So it is like 2 plus 2 plus 2 plus 2 plus 2 plus 2. So that is how the division of the website screen. That is how the division of the of website screen works. Just a minute, guys, please give me 2 minutes, and then I'll be able to break this down further. Okay. So this is the way that I was able to learn it anyway, and then I want to make sure I'm passing the right information to you guys, so you guys uh would be able to, like, digest it well as well. All right. So with that said, anyway, the grid system is just like, splitting the website string into um 12 spaces or 12 boxes, and then each box is like, it contains two units of 12. All right. So if we if we go back to the yeah if we go back to the slide to start with, and then we look at example code from Bootstrap. So now that you understand what CSS grid is, let's go into how to actually use Bootstrap to create a website. Let's just dive into it straight up. Okay. So the first thing I would like us to do is to go to let's jump into the component of Bootstrap, so we can just straight up start building website. And it is as easy as, copy and pasting and re-editing as well. So once you go to that docs Bootstrap document or docs, click on use the left menu to click on to find navbar, and then find navbar in there, and let's just find a good navigation bar, because when you want to create any website, the first thing, of course, that you need is a navigation bar. All right. So I think this one looks all right. So this one looks all right to me. You just let me copy it, and we're going to re-edit that in a minute. Hmm. All right. So let's copy this one here. This one looks all right. So let's copy this navigation bar and let's put it in our code. So already we have installed Bootstrap, so this should work. And let's save it. I'll explain what is going on in a minute, guys. And then I would manage to link it with this CSS grid that I'm talking about as well, and everything is going to make sense. But right now, just follow me as we go. Okay. So for some reason, our code is not coming up, which basically just means that the CSS, the Bootstrap link or style sheet that we linked to this file is not linked properly, and that is why that is broken. So that is a good way to know that your yeah. So that's the mistake that we made, right? So that's the mistake that we made. So what we managed to do, yeah, I made a mistake, guys. So what we did was that we linked a style sheet, which is the custom style sheet that we created, but we did not link the Bootstrap file itself. So all we just need to do is to copy this one, paste it, because we want to link our own style sheet, our own custom style sheet as well. Um, so just maybe do a rename, and let's copy all that file name, and we change the name of one of them to the Bootstrap one, and let's save it. Then remove this .css because that's .css in it already. So let's go back to our output again and see what we have. So immediately right now, you see Bootstrap is now working. What looked ugly before now has turned to what exactly to similar to what we have on the Bootstrap page, and that immediately just tells us that the Bootstrap CSS or style sheet that we installed previously is now working, because we managed to link it properly now. Okay, so we have a navigation bar. We have a navigation bar now, and then let's just take some quick action around the navigation bar, and I will go further into using Bootstrap rows and columns, where I would use it to explain the concept of CSS grid to you. All right, so we're getting there, guys. We're getting there. Um, Let me just change the title of that nav bar to one page website. Okay, and then the menu, I think I like the menu the way it is. So we are going to make it a one-page website, and then we are going to build it for an application. So when you guys work in your final project, you'll be able to work with the no-code developers that would probably want to build an application. So you create you guys can create a website, a one-page website for the app, and the no-code developer would create an app, and then the UX and UIs guys would create a UX and UI design for the app, and maybe the website. Well, maybe not the website, because if they do for the website, you have to create a website from scratch. So maybe they will create for the app, and then the SEO guys would come up with content and explain how they can optimize both application or both products, which in this case is your website and the application for search engine. So that is just a brief explanation of how you guys can work together in the group. Okay, so let us change this one to maybe contact us, and let's go back to that page. So that is changed. All right. So the next thing I would like us to do now is to just change the background color of that navigation bar, because I don't like the background color. Okay. So when it comes to using Bootstrap Bootstrap is basically, again, guys, Bootstrap is it's a framework of different codes it is like a library of different codes that um some guys, which in this case is like Twitter before now, they've created all of this code already. So they wrote all of the CSS class and everything already. So all you just have to do is like know those classes, and then define the classes in your code, and you would be able um, to re-edit it to what how you want it to actually look like for you, for your own business or for your own project. So that is basically what Bootstrap is all about. It's all about using the codes that people have created before. So in this case, we have a background body. I think that is what that is. So they have a class there declared as background body, and I think that is what the color is, unless I'm wrong. Right, so I'm wrong. Am I? Okay, let us put it back. I think the background color is gone now. Let's go back to our code. Right, so that's correct, guys. That's the color. So let's take that away. Let us create our own class. Let's call it. What can we call this, guys? Let's call it maybe. Let's call it nav nav one page. Let's call it nav one page, guys. And let's just copy that, and let's go into our own style sheet, which is this style sheet here. So let's to write class again, to write a new class, you have to start with dots, and then the name of your class, your curly braces, open and close, and then you put in your CSS declaration in there. So what we want right now is that we want a background color, and we just want the background color to be black, and let's say maybe the color of all the text inside that class should be white. Let's see if that works. If not, we we fix it. So let's save that and let's go back to our code. Okay, that should have applied. No, it did not work. Right, so let's see if we can troubleshoot that quickly. One page. That's correct. Okay, so there we go, guys. So something interesting quickly about CSS. Right, so let's put that at the end again. So this is the custom class that we've just created, yeah? We put it at the end again. And then if we go back to the code now, maybe let's refresh it again. All right, so that works regardless. It was just late. It was just late to reload. That's the reason why it looks like it did not work. All right, so that works. That works. So that's good. We have our one-page website, and then we defined a new background color in there. We said we want it to be black, and that is black. But what we want to do right now, the next thing we want to do is like we want to make the text white because by default I think the text are like gray or black. So that is why no text are showing in there, but the text are actually there. To fix that quickly, uh, we just need to go back into that code and let's see maybe there's a color that Bootstrap has defined, or there's a class that Bootstrap has defined for the anchor tags. And in this case, I don't think there's a particular class that I can see in there. No, no, no. Yeah, no. There is no particular class that I can see in there. All right. So let's just change. Right. So let's do this here. So let's copy this nav bar, which is the navigation bar class that Bootstrap used initially for their own code. Or better still, let us use the one that yeah, let's use this. Let's use this nav link class. Let's come to our style sheet. And then let's just say dot nav link. Let's see maybe that is going to overwrite what Bootstrap have. And then we want to say color FFF save. Right, so that works on. Okay, we're getting there, guys. All we just want is to make everything have a white background. So maybe nav link is not a good one to use. Let's use the one that is above everything. Container fluid. No, 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 no. Or maybe we just okay. So let's do this instead. Let's use this one because I think this one is where all of the anchor tags lives, and the anchor tags, yeah, the anchor tags are the ones that we want to have a white color. So let's do this. Let's actually copy this nav bar. This nav bar, I think it is the one that is above everything. So let's do this first, yeah. Let's see what we have. Let's see the output. Did that change anything? No, does not change anything. So let's do this. Let's put so a good way to kind of like maybe troubleshoot anchor tags sometimes, or maybe CSS class that have been written somewhere else. So what I'm trying to do right now, yeah, is that I'm trying to say, and that works, guys. That works, so that's good. So what I did here is that I'm saying that okay. So in this top element called nav, called in this top element called nav, yeah, and then I'm saying um the top elements called nav that have a class called nav bar. So every anchor tag that is living within this top element nav that has a uh, class called navbar. So every anchor tag that's living within that, I want it to have a class. I want it to have a color of FFF, which is white, and that is what happened there. However, there are some over effects when you kind of like over on it that would change the color, but we troubleshoot that as well. We need to be quick so we can actually talk about CSS rows and colon, which is the major thing you really want to gain. Even if you don't learn anything from this class, you want to learn about CSS rows and colon. So these two are working fine, but this one is not showing. Well, let's use this. Okay. I'll explain what I'm doing, guys. Just trying to troubleshoot this first. Okay, that works. So where is the rest of you guys then? Oh. I'm going to explain what I'm doing in a bit, guys. Get in there. Alright, better still, let's just inspect and let us see the class that would dominate the whole thing. So that one, okay, now by FFF is not showing then. On page color, that's not showing. Okay, now bar brand. That's not what we want. Alright, let's try this. Let's say nav itself, which is the tag, which is the element where everything sits in. Let's put a color to it. So basically what we're trying to do here is to overwrite the default settings or the default colors that Bootstrap have put in into their code. Is to overwrite it for our own website and to make it appear the way we want it to appear. Just a minute, guys. We're getting there. All right, we'll come back to that one. We'll come back to that one in a bit. Let's talk about Bootstrap rows and columns, so I don't keep you guys waiting for too long on fixing a bug that should be very simple, but now I'm having a difficult time to fix it. Let's talk about Bootstrap rows and column, and then we'll come back to fix the navigation bar. So let's talk about Bootstrap rows and column, which is basically the Bootstrap layout, how to create layout around Bootstrap. So if I just take you quickly into our slide again, we talk about the this concept of like responsive design, and I just mentioned that responsive design is all about optimizing websites for different devices or different device screen. And this is where Bootstrap kind of like make life easier for people. They have like they have like a set of breakpoints, which is breakpoints basically means like device size or device screen, and then they have like a set of classes that they've created to use columns and rows for different breakpoints, to just create layouts for different breakpoints. So that is how Bootstrap works around responsive design. We're going to come into it in a bit. Everything is going to come together gradually, guys. It's all going to come together gradually. Please just keep following me. Okay, so when it comes to using Bootstrap, the first thing you want to do is to, of course, you have your division tag. And again, guys, I told you earlier on that division tag is for creating boxes around the website. So when it comes to using Bootstrap, the first thing you want to do is to use this class called container. I'm going to show you what container does in a minute. So let's put maybe hello world in there, h1 heading tag, which is hello world. Okay. So what you notice is that um, this hello world is not like maybe at this end. It's not here. It is here, and that is because there's a thing. This container is putting content or element, you know, not really at the center of your device screen, but it is creating some space and margins. It is creating some margins around the device screen to make sure like the content of your website is properly laid out. So if you look at this website, for example, now we can say there is a container in it. And when it comes to like developing websites, it is all about. So when it comes to okay, you guys are saying I did not save the index file. We'll come back to that bug later, and we fix it anyway. I'm sure it is a small issue. It is just me struggling to find the right class. But talking about container right now, anyway, guys, when it comes to creating websites, all the content of your website, kind of like they need to align. It's not going to be that okay, maybe this section of the website, everything is like at this end, then this down part is like at this shifted to the right, and then the second one is now shifted to the left, and everything is all looking rough and untidy. So this is like a good website to show you how container works. And if you can see right here, you see that there's a kind of like margin or space at the left here, and then the same amount of space is at the right, and all of the content is just like in the middle of the page. That is the same idea with with Bootstrap container. That is what Bootstrap containers do. They create spaces left and right for you, and then to put your content in between your website. if we just remove this container class there immediately, and let us see how that is going to work with our website. So I just remove the container class in there, and as you can see, it has gone back to the default thing. It has gone back to the default appearance of the website, which is like at this extreme end. So, that is basically what the containers would do. The container class, Bootstrap container class does around the website. That is what they do. They create spaces and put your contents in between. And as a developer, you always want to start by creating a division class, or maybe using the container class in any other division tag or division element that you're using to create layouts around your website. Okay, so now we know what the container does, but that is not. Yeah, so now we know what the container does. Uh, to be on track with what we are trying to do here, what I want us to kind of like replicate quickly, hopefully we have the time to do it, God willing, is to replicate this kind of website. Let me show you. So this Paga website or Pega website, we are trying to like create something similar to it. So we're trying to like create something very simple but similar to this Pega website. Very simple but similar to Paga website. And then we're going to use Bootstrap rows and colon to try to create something simple but similar to this today before we um, end the class. So we just need to speed up, guys. We need to speed up. Okay, so if we look at that Pega or Paga website again, talking about container again, you will notice like there's space here and then there is space here. So basically, again, guys, container, and then that is what the container does. Just put all of the elements of your website in between your device screen, so everything is not at the extreme end. So we've declared container, yeah. We are trying to create something similar to this Paga website. We have a navigation bar, although the colors of the navigation link are still black. Everything is not white yet. We'll fix that in a bit. But the next thing we want to do right now is to have this hero image. So this slide or this section of the website is kind of like called the hero, or hero image, or it could be hero video, or whatever I want to call it, but it is hero anyway. Most developers refer it to as hero. So in our case, let's have this as well, but maybe not slides. Let's just have one image there. We just need one picture, and one picture will do. We don't need to have for the purpose of learning, we don't need to have slide. Let's just have one image there. Okay. So when it comes to like saving images on your website as well, you need a new folder. You need to create a folder and then maybe call that folder maybe img. You find out that most people would call it img, which is just a short form for writing images. And then save all your images into one folder. Right, so we have that image, we saved it into one folder. Let us put it okay. So in this case, right. So in this case, to make everything align to the center, similar to the Paga website, because they have the navigation bar and everything is just in between with this space left and right. To achieve something similar to that, let us put our navigation bar as well in a container. Or maybe let's do something different. Let's do something. It does not exactly have to be the same. I think it's going to come out looking awful if we do that. All right, let's just do something different. Right, but we want the hero section anyway. So to create the hero section, um, we we define a new division tag and let us create a new class as well and call this new class, let's call it hero. Save it. And then inside this hero, before we put more elements in there, let's go into our customs style sheet that we've been working on. Let's put all of those. Let's put a HTML, sorry, CSS CSS comment. Let's put it in there. To write CSS comment, guys, / wildcards and then / again. Let's just put maybe Bootstrap, uh, Bootstrap CSS maybe overwrite, so we can remember what the what the codes in this section is all about. It is the ones that we're trying to use to overwrite the Bootstrap codes. All right. So one page we have that. What we're trying to do right now is to style this hero section of our website. And then we want the H1 as well inside the hero section. So let's bring this inside the hero section. Okay. And let's do this. Let's change this from hello world to like maybe the the best um, build application. Let's spell it right. Or let's say maybe download our app. Okay. I think this is better, guys. I'm sorry I just keep changing that, but I'm just thinking of what would sound better and then eventually make sense for you guys when you're re-editing. So we have that there, and we have it in the position where we want it. The next thing we want to do right now is to style this hero section. So that hero section, uh, let us define a class for it. Let us style it. Let's put some CSS declaration in there. The first thing I would like to introduce you to, I think I introduced you to this in the last class, but you could not hear me anyway, so it does not make any change. So for your elements, you can have a background. So before now we've been using background color, yeah. So aside from background color, you can also have images as the background for your elements. So in this case, in this hero section, we are going to have a background a background image instead of background color. So to use background images, how do you use background images? You define this property called image, and then you write URL. URL, is the same way you would kind of like maybe write source, or maybe use href to link the file when you're trying to link external style sheet. So it is the same concept in the sense like linking the file. So you write URL, this open and closing brackets, and in between that open and closing brackets, you have quotation marks, and then put in the file name of your image in there. In this case, which is this image, make sure you copy the full name of the image and the file extension and paste it in between your your quotation marks. So again, guys, with paths, you need to make sure that the folder path is correct. So like this right now, the folder path is not correct. All I just need to do is to correct the path, and then I'll put so Visual Studio Code is giving me a good suggestion, and this the right path. There we go. And then the image. All right. So the right path is it should be like this, image and then blah 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 blah. Right. So let's save that. The next thing we want to do in that arrows for starting that arrow section. Uh, okay, let's save that and let's just see the output first. Okay, so we kind of like have the image there, but it's not showing fully yet. But the next thing I would like you to do is to use this other property called background repeat. There are several other background properties that can help you further style your background image anyway, but we are not going to be diving into that, guys. This is something you would have to read on by yourself. I would attach a link to where you can read more or learn more about CSS properties and then CSS values. However, again, I would like to remind you we are a community now. Randomly every now and then, I'm going to send a calendar into the group for people to book a free section with me. So as you continue to learn, if there's anything that is not clear to you and you just need somebody to mentor you or ask from anyone, feel free to ask me anytime. So this background repeats property anyway, it will prevent your image, which is the background image, to repeat itself over and over again. Because sometimes, if the height of your image if the height of your element is more than the height of your image is more, it would repeat itself. So you have like several images, maybe like two or three image as the background color as the background image. So what you just need to do is to use this property called background repeat and then enter this value called no repeat. So that way your your background image does not repeat itself. But that is not what we're trying to achieve here. What we're trying to achieve is that we are trying to make that section big enough. If you notice right here, the section is just small, it's not big enough. So what we want to do right now is that we want to make it big. And to make it big and big enough, we just use this height, this property called height. And then let's say maybe we want it to be as big as 50% or 50 of the visual height. And then let's save that again. And let's go back into our code and let us see what we have. And then wolves. That's nice. That is coming together gradually, guys. That is coming together gradually. All right. But however, you notice that right here we have the image is kind of like, by this side, and it is not really fitting into the O section. So how do we make it fit into the O section? Then what do we do? Okay, so maybe it might even be a good idea to have that container similar to the same way Pega have it on their own website. So guys, let's just use that container similar to how Pega have it on their own website. Okay, so what we want to do then, if we go back into our HTML code, and then we just put a div tag. The next thing we're going to talk about now, guys, is the rows and columns um, of Bootstrap. And then even if you want to go after that, feel free to go, but I'll complete building the website for you so you can use it for your final project. Okay, so division container, and then at the end, let's have the div tag again. All right, so we have that saved. Go back to our code. Right. So immediately you notice what you notice immediately now is that we have the website now in a container, and then it is looking similar to this Pega website in sense of like with this right and left space. So our website is now looking similar to theirs in that sense. So we're getting there gradually, guys. We're getting there gradually. And the next thing that you notice right now is that the image is kind of like wide and you can see everything. But in this case, we cannot see all of our images. We can only see we cannot see the lady in there. So how do we fix that quickly? How do we fix that quickly? So to fix that, go back into our CSS, and then inside that hero image that we're building, um, let's put background position. There's a CSS property called background position. So this is me just introducing um, as much as I can as we go. I should be cover. Let's see what center do. Okay, so center seems to work, but not really. Instead, let's try cover. Yeah, that broke the code. All right, so that's another bug, guys. We'll fix that one too later. Uh, it is not so easy thinking on my feet and fixing all of the little mistakes all in one go. So what I'm going to do is that I'm just going to leave center in there because I think center is still not so bad. We'll come back to that, guys. We'll come back to that. So there are little mistakes everywhere and there, but this is not so bad. So we have a mistake. We have a bug or mistake, so to say, in the navigation bar. All of the text are not white yet. We want everything to be white. We'll fix that. In the image as well, we want to see the full image. So we don't want anything to cut to the side. We are going to come back to that as well and we'll fix it. Or maybe I'll just fix it on my own personal time and let you guys know what I did in there and how the problem was solved. Because I'm not sure we have time to cover all of that in this class. So let's dive into CSS rows and columns. Let's dive into CSS rows and columns, and this is the major thing you want to hear. This is the major thing you want to learn. Even if you don't learn anything from this class, you want to learn about CSS rows and columns finally. So I've been talking about boxes and boxes in this class so far. So if you've been with us right from the beginning of this class is already over 2 hours already. I just want to say thank you. Let me know if there's still anyone out there listening to me. And then if you're gaining value, if you're learning something new, just drop fire emoji or anything at all. Let me know if you're learning something new from everything that we're doing so far. So we've gotten to the last bit now, guys. We've gotten to the final stage, which is this CSS rows and column, guys. This is what you really want to learn. Okay. So earlier on, I was talking about thank you, William. Thank you, Choma. Thank you, Choma. Thank you, William. I can see the fire emoji. Thank you, Lawan. I can see the fire emoji. I really hope you guys, would take part in the final project and then create a final project. I'm actually looking forward to the project that you guys would come up with. Um, right. So rows and colon, CSS rows and Bootstrap rows and columns. And this is again, guys, this is where things start to get interesting. This is what you really, really, really want to learn. So if you can remember, I taught you how to write HTML comments, which is like this, and I told you comment is just for leaving notes in your code. So let's put a note in there that rows and then columns, so we can remember that this is what that section is about. Let me just make sure I have my right. Okay, so let's copy this. Go to our code. Let's just paste this one there. So I use that to explain to you guys. Alright, I was about to write colons in there. Okay, so right. So let's go to the output. Let's see what we have, and then I'll use that to explain what is going on here for you guys. Okay, so immediately what you can see here is that we have this text. We have it in a row. We have it in a row, and then we have three columns. One, two, three. Okay, if that is not obvious enough, what we can do again is to create a new row. Let's copy this and then paste it again under. You can ignore this one is basically just the container, guys, where the rows and columns are living, so you can ignore that one. The focus is on, right, the focus is on this ones, the rows and the column. Okay, so immediately when it comes to like creating rows and column in Bootstrap or creating layouts in Bootstrap, it is all about the rows and columns. Earlier on I told you that each screen of your device is kind of like splitted into six. No, yeah, it is kind of like splitted into 12 actually, into 12. Each screen of the device is kind of like splitted into 12, and then each cell is like 1 unit each. Um, all right, so that was where I made a mistake. So I made a mistake on there, guys. Let me just make sure I did not teach you guys rubbish. If I can find that diagram again. The diagram is gone, but anyways, so that diagram that we have like 12 boxes. Each of those boxes is not actually two, because if it is two, then that makes it 24. So each of those boxes is one unit each, which makes up 12. But when it comes to writing Bootstrap Bootstrap codes, yeah, when it comes to writing Bootstrap codes and the concept of this rows and column and how the grid system works around it. So in here, you notice that we have one row, and then inside this one row we have three columns. Okay, if we go to our output, what you would notice is that each of those columns, similar to what we have here, each of those columns are the same size. If we go to our output, each of those columns are the same size. Let's just put a background color to it, so we make the columns obvious. Make the columns obvious. Let's put a background color to the columns. Okay, maybe a border as well, so we make it even more obvious. All right, so let's just go to our output and see what's going on with that. All right, so save color bg. Okay, okay, okay. All right. Uh, all right. Well, that does not matter anyway. Um, let me just explain. Okay, so what you notice, however, is that each of these column are they kind of like have the same size. They all have the same size in there. They all have the same size. So this box, I'm trying to put a border there. I'm trying to put a border there so you can see it well enough. Let's go into the Bootstrap document. All right. So this is the same code anyway. So let's just use this Bootstrap document. This one have a border in there with the background color, so that is good. So what you notice here is that each of these column have the same size. And then I want you to think of each of these boxes. I want you to think of them as each element or, around your website. So in this case, something like this, this is one box. All of this here is one box, and then all of this is one box. Everything here like this is one box. And then inside this big gigantic box, there are several other boxes. So this is like one box. This is another box, and then another box, another box, another box, another box. And all of these boxes are inside this big box. So this is one big box, this is another big box, and then the second big box is having other smaller boxes inside it. But however, this big box and this big box they are inside another big box. So what am I trying to say with this, with what I'm explaining here? What I'm trying to say is that this is the row, yeah. This is the row. Everything that is inside here is the row. And then inside that row, there are only two columns. So this is column 1 for the row, and then this is column 2 for the row. So inside column 1, there's only one image, which is this image. And then inside column 2, there are several other rows and columns inside column 2. So inside column 2, this can be one row. Inside column 2, this can be one row. And then that first row inside column 2 have another two columns. And then inside that column 2 again, there's another row again. And then the second row inside that column 2 have its own two columns. And then there's the third row again. The third row inside column 2 have its own two columns. So this is the explanation again for the box model that we've been talking about, and the grid system too, actually, that we've been talking about. We are not in the grid system yet, but again, this is another explanation for the box model, with real life example that I've just shown you right now. And if you just go back to that Bootstrap, you know, template that they have for us. So what you notice here, however, is that this one now, this image is occupying almost 50% of the row, and then this other section as well is all occupying 50% of the row. So we can say this box, this section, and this section, they are the same size. However, let's see, maybe we find another example. Yes, however, in this other section, we have three columns in there. So this is like one row on its own, but there are three columns in there. And then um, we cannot say this is the same size as this. This box this colon is smaller than this colon here. So how are they able to achieve it? How are they able to achieve this? That they are able to determine the size of each colon for each section that they create. So if you notice in this section on top that I've been using it, as the example, I said there are two colons here, and then this is like 50%, and then it contains the image, and then there's another 50% that contains this other smaller rows and column. So there are only two sections or two columns in this first section. But then in this second section, there are three columns in there in the second section. So this first section is bigger than this second section. So how are they able to size each column? And that is where Bootstrap comes in. That is what Bootstrap does. And this will take us into the concept, what I've just briefly explained again is the concept of the box model. But the next thing I'm about to explain now will take us into the concept of the grid system. Right. And this is where, the concept of the Bootstrap breakpoint as well would come to play. So if we have a look at what we see right here, you'll see that, similar to this to this website, similar to what this website have that I was just trying to explain, that this is 50% of that section, and everything here as well is 50% of the section. If we go back into that Bootstrap document, you see that it is similar to what we have here. This is 50% and this is 50%. And then this one, I want you to pay attention to this one here that have three columns. If you come back here, you will notice that it is similar to what we have here. So in this case, you cannot say this is 50%. This is definitely less than 50%. If everything here is 100%, this is definitely less than 50%. And again, that is similar to what Bootstrap itself is showing here. So how do they achieve this? How do you determine the size of each column of your website? Right. So by default, um, let me see if they have a very simple document that I can use to break this down before we go into breakpoints. Okay, so let's use this. Let's use this. 12.3, 12.3 wider. Okay, one of three, and then 12.3 wider. There we go. Now, I don't think this document would do justice to the way I'm trying to explain and break it down to you guys. It's not going to do justice to it. Let's see, maybe there's another resource quickly somewhere that I can use to explain. Okay, so I think this W3 schools one should be a good one. All right. Yeah. So, okay, yeah, this is even perfect. Yeah, this is perfect, guys. This is it. This is it. Yeah, this would make you understand. All right. So earlier when I said I made a mistake here, that the website screen or the your device screen is divided into contains of four cells. So no, not four cells. Sorry, 12 cells or 12 boxes. So that is what this resource here is trying to explain to us. So let's say this is the whole space of your, this whole website that we are seeing here. It contains of 12 boxes, 12 boxes, and each of those boxes one. Each of those boxes one. I'm sorry, I made a mistake earlier. I said two. That was a mistake, and that is me thinking of the 6 grid thing and not the 12 grid. But anyway, to correct that again immediately, guys, I mentioned earlier as well, is that each of those boxes is one, but then when you add it all up together, it makes up all to 12 grid system. So let's say you want to create with this Pega websites now that we're trying to create, and then we were talking about how they size their columns around the website. What you notice here immediately, let me bring that one here. Okay, so with this Pega website, and then this grid system of 12. So how can you use this grid system of 12 to kind of like size your columns using Bootstrap? All right. So if all the whole screen around your website is 12, you can say maybe the first column you want it to be like colon dash 4. So is that what that would mean All right. So for example, no, this Bootstrap document is too complicated. It's not self-explanatory for you guys. But let's focus on this, and then we would use our own personal practical example. Right. So we have four grids. Now you understand sorry, we have 12 grids. Now you understand these 12 grids because I've been nagging over and over about it. So let's say that is on top. So now we don't want we want to create sections for our website. How do we break it down? How do we size each columns? If we look further down now to this next row here where we have this next set of boxes, you notice that these ones are saying like span 4. What that basically means is that it is taking the first four boxes. It is taking the first four boxes, and then let's say maybe you don't want this Pega website, for example, now this one is probably taking. So if this is like 12 boxes altogether in this row, if this is 12 boxes altogether in this row, 12 divided by 2 again, guys. I don't know maths, but I think that is 6. So that would mean that um, this the first colon here, it will be colon dash 6, colon dash 6. That means that it is taking up the first 6 boxes, and then the second one as well is taking the second 6 boxes. So that is for this section. But then this other section, how do they size it? So if this is like if this row is 12 boxes, if this row is 12 boxes, 12 divided by 3 in this case now, that would mean that each box is having is having 4 boxes. Each box is having 4 boxes. So each of these columns, sorry, is having 4 boxes. Is having 4 grid boxes in them. That is how they size it. So that kind of like that should gradually paint a picture in your head, how to kind of like size sections around your website. So this is the example of 3 columns. Yeah. So what about if you want to have maybe just 2 columns, but you want the first column you want it to be smaller, and the second column to be wider than the first column. And that is the example that this resource is trying to show us here. So basically you are saying that the first section here now, so let's say maybe you do colon dash 4. If you do colon dash 4 now, you're saying that the first column should take up the first 4 boxes, and then maybe the second section you want it to be wider, then you do colon dash 8. You are saying that the next section should take up the remaining 8 boxes. So there are 12 boxes in total, guys. You just have to split it. You have to divide it, split it between each of those columns to determine the size. So in this case, let's say you want two sections only, and then you want the two you want two columns only, and then you want the two columns to have the same size. Basically, 12 divided by 6 is going to give us like span 6. But in the case of Bootstrap, it will be to write the code you will do colon dash 6. So let's do a practical example. Now that you kind of like, have a better understanding of that grid system. Now that you have a better understanding of grid system, I'm sorry guys, I should have come into this resource. It could have saved us a lot of time explaining the grid system. If you have a quick question about this grid system, if there's something that you don't understand about this grid system, put a quick comment in the section here, and then I'm more than happy to answer your question, because I think as soon as you understand this grid system, it is even going to be easier for you to go into the Bootstrap document yourself and read up everything and understand, and start building websites. But let's do a practical example on our own end, and then we are trying to build a section, this second section of the Pega website. Okay, and then what we have there is that we have two sections, right? In that Pega website, we have two sections there. So if I just remove all of this away, let's leave only the container. So the first thing I want to write is that I want to create my division tag or division element anyway. And then I want to define a class called colon, called row, sorry, not colon. First thing, you want to define a row. And then inside the row, I want the row to have only two columns. So because I want only two columns and I want the two columns to have the same size, because I want only two columns and I want the columns to have the same size, I would say, actually guys, I'm sorry, I don't think it's actually possible to build a website and teach you at the same time. I kind of like underestimated how much time that is going to take. So maybe I may finish up building the website, but at least I'll teach you how the grid system works and how to use Bootstrap, so everybody can go their own way. All right. So what we can see here is that we have 12 grid here, or we have yeah, you have 12 grid, and then it's the same as columns, Bootstrap columns as well. So in a row, you have to always have to define a row, and then basically you have columns. So each of those columns are one, and then they are up to 12. So based on how you want to size the column, you can define, based on how you want to size the column, you can say, maybe if I want the first column to be smaller, I can say maybe only take up the first two boxes, and then the remaining column should take up the remaining boxes. So if there are 12 boxes, the remaining boxes will be 10. In this case, it will look like this. But if I want it to be like equal in size, if I want it to be the same size, I would say they take up 6 each. They'll take up 6 each. You know, let's say maybe I want more than two columns in there. Actually, you should be able to put border. I think Bootstrap have its own border. So right, so that way it is probably going to be easier to show you what I'm trying to do. Again, guys, even if we cannot build this Pega website in the class today, if we can just something is not in there yet. All right, get in there. Run two. Go to our website again. Refresh. Okay. So what we have here is that we have two columns only, and then the two columns are of the same size. I really want us to put a border around it. Let me just see. I want us to put a border around it so what we are coding is obvious as well. Okay, right. So let's take this one. Did I spell it wrong then? I think I spelled it wrong. That's the reason why it has not been working. There we go. Blunder. Yeah, I spelled it wrong. I missed the R. That's the reason why it did not work, guys. Okay. So now that we have a border around our our colons, let's go to the output again. Right. Okay, sweet. So now we have a border around it, that makes things more visible for you guys, finally. All right. So we have two colons in there, and then the colons are having the same size. In this case, 6 each. Again, guys, the entire the entire row is always going to be 12. So it's not maximum. It is not above 12. It is maximum of 12, and each of the row the entire row is contains maximum of 12 boxes. Each of those boxes are 1 unit. So now I'm saying that I want the first column to take up the first six boxes, or the first 6 units, and then the second column as well. I want it to take up the next 6 units. So let's say maybe I want to change it around now, and I want my first column to have only four to take up only 4 units, and then the second column I want it to take up the remaining 8 units. Let's look at our output and let us see what we have. Right. So immediately you can see that the first section is smaller than the second section. And what that is doing is very simple. That is basically just showing you that the 12 grid system, or the 12 unit grid system. So in this case, I'm saying that the first column should take up the first 4 boxes, or the first 4 units, and then the second column is taking up the remaining 8 units. So let's say you want more than one. What if you want more than one, more than 2 sections? Let's say you want maybe 3 sections, and then now let's just leave this in there. So this is 4 plus 8 here, makes up 12, and then inside that row now, I have the third column in there. Inside the same row, I have the third column in there. And again, remember, guys, I say a row would always have only 12, no more than 12. A row can only have 12 units and no more than 12. But in this case now, this 4 plus 8, 12. I don't know maths, but I think that is correct. 4 plus 8, 12 already, and then we have another 8, which makes it more than 12. And now we have 3 columns in there. So let's say maybe it is going to obey that rule or break the rule. And as you can see immediately, it is obeying the rule, because the third column now is not on the same row. It is not on the same row. The third column now have to break to the second row, because the maximum that you can have on each row is only 12. So the maximum you can have on each row is only 12. So now we already have a maximum of 12 in that row. And so by default, what it will do is that any new row you create and put uh, into a row where it has already exceeded the maximum unit it can have, it would go to the second row. So let's say we want 3 sections in there. How do we do this? How do we have 3 sections in the same row? So basically, all you just have to do is you have to split it. You have to split up the 12 units that you have among the 3 sections. So let's say maybe in this case I want all the sections to have the same size. So 4, 4, 4, 4, which makes up 12. And then if I, yeah, there we go. So, we have the 3 sections in one row. So that is similar to what Paga is doing in here. This first big box, the first section that you see in here, there are 2 boxes. There are 2 boxes. The first box is 6, which is 50% of that row. First box is 6, and then the second box is 6 as well, you know. And then inside the second box, that is 6, then they have more rows inside the second box that is 6. So this is row 1, row 2, and row 3 inside the second column, or inside the second box that is 6. So now inside that second column that is 6, this row in here, this one will be 6 and 6 as well, because they are the same size. These two in here are the same size, and that applies to every other one as well. Yeah, so this is a row, and then this is a colon, this is a colon. So this is 6, colon 6, and colon 6. So that's, I think, with that, with what I've just explained to you now, you should have clear understanding. You should have clear understanding of the CSS grid system, which is in 12, CSS box module, and then Bootstrap rows and colon. How Bootstrap rows and colon works. So in the comment section quickly, Lawan, if you understand what I've been, because I believe you're still with us, Lawan, and I'm quite happy about that. If you're still with us, if you guys, anybody that's listening out there, if you understand what I've been saying so far about this rows and colon and grid, please just type yes in the comment section. Let me know that you understand, and then immediately I would take us into the next topic, before we end this class. Unfortunately, guys, I actually underestimated how much time and effort is going to take us to build a website and teach at the same time. So I think it is impossible, guys. We don't have enough time to do all of that. So, but I'm going to take my time to finish up explaining this grid system, because with me, I like to take my time to explain the foundation and the basics to you, because I believe once you understand the foundation and basics, all of the resources are online, guys. There are several videos on YouTube, there are several resources online. But if you don't understand the basics, you don't even understand what you're reading. Now that you understand the basics and the foundation, by the time you read it and you start looking at those resources, it's going to be easy peasy for you. You would understand what you're reading, and then you can start to work around it. All right, so Lawan is saying yes. Thank you, Lawan. I'm happy you're still with us and you understand. So that is that about the grid system. I took my time to explain to you guys, and I believe by now, with going back to back over and over on that again, you should understand what the grid system is and how it works. So let us talk about responsive design now. How do we make this responsive on several devices, on maybe mobile device, and your tablets, and your desktop and everything? How do we make it responsive on mobile device? So let's go back to Paga website. Let's go back to Paga website. So if you notice on Paga website, what they have in here, this is the desktop view, obviously. So let us see the mobile view of their website. Let us see what it looks like. So immediately you would notice that the the sections that were like a whole row before, they are now like in columns. They've broken into one column. So on the desktop view, this whole section is one row, yeah. But on the mobile view, they broke into a column, and then each of those column is a row. So this is a row now. This image here is a row on its own on the mobile view, and each of those columns as well that are in the column two, they are a row as well on the mobile view. So how did Paga achieve this? How did they achieve this with Bootstrap? I'm not sure what they are using. Maybe they built custom code, but that's none of my business. What we are trying to look at is how to achieve this with Bootstrap. So how can you achieve something similar to this with Bootstrap? So now that you understand the Bootstrap grid system, I'm going to take you into I'm going to take you into how to build responsive layouts with Bootstrap. Okay, so for this website now, um, we have three elements. We have three elements in here. So on our mobile view, on our desktop view, which is what we are looking at right now, we have three boxes in a row. So let's go to the mobile view. Let us see what is going to happen for our own website that we're trying to build. Okay, so on the mobile view as well, what you notice is that we still have three boxes in a row on the mobile view. So, this is looking nice now because there's no content inside those boxes. There's no content inside those boxes. But imagine in the case of Paga, yeah, where they have these three, they have these three boxes and then they have several contents inside. Imagine on the mobile view, imagine the three boxes, which are these three, yeah, are still staying in one row. Now imagine, think of how tiny, how tiny they would look. They would look so small and tiny, and it would be impossible for the user to read what the contents inside the boxes. So in our case here, for this website that we are building, it is not responsive yet for mobile view, because if we actually have similar content to what Paga have on their website, if we have it inside these three boxes, it will just be too small and impossible for our users to read. So what we want to do is that on the mobile view, we want these three boxes, we want it to break into columns, similar to what Paga have in here. So how do we make it break into three columns, similar to what Paga have? Very simple, easy peasy. We're going to do it right now. I'll show you. So Bootstrap have made life easier, and then what Bootstrap did to make life easier for people like you and I is that they have a set of classes called breakpoints, and then these breakpoints are they work with these breakpoints, they work with mobile device dimensions. So these are all the breakpoints of Bootstrap. Again, if you go to the website getbootstrap.com, you'll see the breakpoints. You see, you find all of these documents and reference in there. I'm going to link. You know what? I'm dropping this link in the comment section immediately, and I would put it in the document in the Google Classroom as well, and I'll try as much as possible to or update the description. Okay, so I'm going to put it in the description as well. I'm putting it in the description of this video as well. I'm putting the resource in the description of this video, so you can refer to it in the future for further learning. All right, just bear with me, guys, while I put the link in the description of the video. So we're talking about Bootstrap. We're talking about Bootstrap. We're talking about Bootstrap breakpoints now, which is used to. Okay, so yeah, you guys will get the link eventually anyway. It is not allowing me to put it in the description at the moment, but it is in the comment section, and then I'll drop it in the community group and all that. We'll spread this all around. So let's just go back into what we're trying to talk about. So for this our website that we are building, it is not responsive yet, so we are trying to figure out how to make it responsive, similar to what Paga have. You know, it's breaking into columns on mobile device. So similar to that, well, that is what we want to achieve. And I'm just telling you that that is possible with this set of classes, Bootstrap classes called breakpoints. So the breakpoints are a set of Bootstrap classes that is for different devices. So there's a thing in CSS called media queries, and then these media queries they they can be used to kind of like write CSS declarations for specific device screen size or for specific screen sizes. So that is the concept, or that is what these Bootstrap classes are built on. Um, if you get the time to read further on CSS or learn more on CSS, you take your time to learn more about media queries outside of Bootstrap. But Bootstrap have made life easy, so you don't really have to write or know all of those things from scratch. But however, it is important to know so you can fix bugs if bugs arise in the future. But since we're in Bootstrap now, let's just go into it. So how do we make it responsive on mobile device, and then we can use this breakpoint. So right, so these breakpoints, they are written in this way. So while this extra small is for extra small devices, maybe I don't know, maybe like your Apple wristwatch or something, and then these small devices are mobile device, yeah, mobile device, maybe maybe the ancient or the smaller Android screen phones. This medium could be like maybe yeah, Android phones and uh, some iPhones up to the level of iPads. No, sorry. So this is like extra small screen, and then this ones will be like maybe your wristwatch, Apple wristwatch, and all of those smart wristwatch, and so on and so forth. The small ones, the small size in here is for mobile device. Medium is for iPads and those tablets. Large is for desktop, and sometimes bigger tablets as well. And then this extra large would be for some extremely large screens. And then this extra large again would be for even for screens that are bigger, that are like way more wide. So that is the concept around there, and then these are the specific dimensions in pixels. With this, so this greater than and this sign, is just saying when you see the underscore under, it's basically saying maybe either greater than or equals to or less than or equals to. All right. So that is the class. Those are the classes. Those are the breakpoints. I don't want to go into all of this. It's just going to get things complicated for you guys. So what we're trying to achieve in this class is to break it down. All right. So these are the classes we have. Let's go into our code and let us see how we utilize them. So right now, by default, this is how you write colons. I've explained the system or I've explained how these numbers at the end, I've explained how they work. So by default, this is how you write colons. And by default, if you write it like this, it is only applicable or it only applies to the desktop view, not the mobile view or any other dimension. It only applies to the desktop view. So if you want to create colons for specific screen sizes, all you need to do is to employ or use the Bootstrap breakpoints that I just showed you guys now. And then to use it, what you want to do is, okay, so on our desktop view right now, we have let me see again. We have three. Right. So on our mobile view, sorry, we have three columns in there, and then we want it to be we want it to break. So each column takes up the 12 spaces on the mobile view. So to achieve that, well, this is the way we go about it. So column one right now, we want to say column one, and then dash sm da, dash sm. Sm is for mobile devices again, guys. Equals 12. And let's just copy this. I'll explain what is going on here in a bit, guys. I'll explain what is going on in here in a bit. All right. So now that we say SM, so we might as well say LG here, which is equals to large screen. LG and then LG. And I'll explain the reason why you want LG in there too in a bit. So let us save that again, and let us go back to our um, let's go back to our output. So the Visual Studio Code, I connected a live plugin into it, so I don't have to refresh every other time to see. But yeah, interesting. What you see now is that immediately on our desktop view, it has broken into columns, like Each of those columns is taking up the 12 grid space on our mobile view. But if we go back to the desktop view, they remain as 4 grid space each. So on mobile view, they take up, each of those columns take up the 12 grid space, but on desktop view, they take 4 grid space. If you're still with me, fire emoji, guys. If you're still with me, fire emoji. Um, we're coming to the end of it now. So right now, I've been able to show you how to break elements or how to break boxes into. Right now, I've been able to show you how to break boxes into different sizes, or how to break columns into different sizes on on mobile and desktop device. So how do you what how do you do the same thing for other screen device screen then? Thank you, Williams. I see the fire emoji. Thank you, Lawan. I see the fire emoji. Right. Yeah, thank you, William. See the fire emoji. Thank you, Lawan. Fire emoji. So now we've been able to achieve that for the mobile and the desktop device. We've been able to break it into columns for mobile and desktop device, which is great. So the same system applies uh, to your tablet view and the rest of the views. So basically, if you want maybe on tablet, if you want maybe column, right? So maybe on tablet, if you want maybe 2 columns each. Yeah. So let's say on tablet you want 2 columns each for in a row, or you want the same similar to what you have on mobile, you want it on tablet as well. So all you just need to do as well is to say colon and then MD. MD now is for medium screen, and that is applicable to tablets. So that will be 12 as well. So you're saying that on tablet screen, this particular colon here should take off the 12 grid space. Just repeat the class over and over again, like that. And then go to your, yeah, let's go to the output again. Let's refresh this. Remain the same. Let's inspect to change the screen size. This is the mobile view. But if you come here, you'll be able to change it to tablet. So let's say iPad Air is a good example of tablet. So, and immediately as you can see here is that it is having the same style that we have for our mobile view. But let's say maybe we don't want that on tablets. Let's say maybe on tablets we want the first one to be 12, and then right. So let's say on tablets we want no, we want the first one to be maybe 4. Let's say we want 4 each on tablet as well. Let's say we want 4 each on tablet as well, because maybe tablets are it's they're a little bit of bigger screen. So there we go. You can have it like that. And if it is the other way around, maybe you want the first one to only have 2 on tablet, and then the remaining ones to be higher. So let's say maybe this one you want it to be 6 on tablet. And then if you just go back to that, and what you notice is that the first one is small, the second one is bigger based on how many units you assign to it, and then the last one is smaller based on how many units you assign to it. So I think with this little thing that I've been able to explain now, and then with the concept of the CSS grid that I was able to explain earlier, you have in-depth understanding of how these numbers and the CSS colon and the device screen works. So basically, it is just saying this is the amount of units I want for this screen size. So on the screen size, on large screen size, I want my column to have only 4 units, only 4 grid units. So, and then on medium size, which is like maybe the desktop, I want my column to have only 2 units. So and so on and so forth, and that is how you define the grid system, guys. That is how you define the grid system for different screen sizes. And these are the remaining screen sizes that we have. We have extra large and so on and so forth. But you are less likely to be, optimizing websites or creating layouts for maybe extra large and extra large, unless you want to be extra anyway. The common ones that you would often use are like, the desktop view, tablets, and mobile devices. So which is this SM, MD, and LG. So that is how you optimize content for websites, guys. That is how you. Sorry, guys, I had to like pick a quick call there. I had to pick a quick call there. Um, yeah. So as I was saying, that is how you optimize your boxes or your layouts for different devices on the website. So that is it, guys. I think with these few things that I've been able to explain to you, um, you know, you now you have a better understanding of how to use Bootstrap, and then you should be good to go to learn several other concepts of this Bootstrap by yourself. You should be able to read up the resource, and then learn more about it by yourself. Unfortunately, we have limited time. I really underestimated how long this is going to take, but I'm quite happy that again I've been able to break down the foundation and basics to you, and now I think you understand. So Lawan, William, if you're still watching me, let me know. Let me know. Do you think you understand so far? Do you have any question in particular you would like to ask? Is there any question you would like to ask? Is there any question you'd like to ask at all? So before we go, however, now that we know how to create layouts for different devices and layout around the website, the last thing I would like to show you before we go, I'm still hoping to get the comments from you guys, Lawan, William, anybody watching. Let me know if you have any question or if you understand everything so far. The last thing I would like to talk about, I will go practice, Lawan said. All right, so good. It's good to know. Yeah, it's good to know you understand Lawan and then you can practice. So the last thing I would like to talk about is these Bootstrap components. And basically, these Bootstrap components are like, a set of, yeah, it's a lot to take in, William. It's a lot to take in. I will have to go over it again. Yeah, that's true. It's a lot to take in. But the good thing is like, you have seen the foundation and then you'll be able to understand it when you start to go over it again. So the last thing I would like to talk about, and then we can end this class. So when we end this class, I'm just going to go away and build that one-page website for you guys so you can go back to it and re-edit it for your final project. Unfortunately, we were unable to like, do that in this class. But yeah, so as I was explaining earlier, we have these bootstrap components, and then bootstrap components. What are they? They are basically a set of codes that have been written. They are like a set of layouts. HTML structure and CSS that have been created by Bootstrap already for you to use. And then all you just have to do is to like copy it, paste it in your code, and then re-edit it. So what are these components then? These Bootstrap components, what are they? All right, all right, all right. So yeah, so there we go. Components. Components. What are these Bootstrap components? So an example of Bootstrap components is this navigation bar. So this whole navigation bar is a Bootstrap component, and this is the whole code here. This is the whole code here. So basically Bootstrap have created different type of like of navigation bars for you, and that is what we try to use. We used an example of it in our own website that we're trying to build as well. Although we are yet to fix the little bugs around it, but what I want you to understand here is that they've created some of these things like the navigation bar for you, and then you can copy it and then re-edit it, like maybe change the color and everything, and make it suit your own brand, so to say. So aside from the navigation bar, there are other components that are available on their website. A typical one or a popular one is this carousel. So if you notice, Paga websites have this slideshow on their desktop view. So they have this slideshow on their desktop view, and how did they achieve that? Basically, they use this carousel, and this is the code. All you just have to do is like maybe copy it, and then you input the image source where it's supposed to be. See, so you have that already. You just have to input image source there, and maybe you can play around the code as well to make it fit into or appear the way you want it to appear. So I think this is the particular one that Paga is probably using, similar to this. So there we go again, guys. We have the Bootstrap carousel. It is now that is an example of Bootstrap components that is really popular, that people often use. Let me see which other one do I think is worth talking about. Cards, yeah, Bootstrap cards are very, very common, and they are very important as well. So sometimes you might have gone, maybe been to some website, and then you notice they have something like this. They have something like this where they have image, then they have like title and a short description and maybe a final call to action or button there. And then this particular thing that you see on the website are called cards. Let me see if there's an example of cards on this Paga website. Okay, so they don't really have a card. While this may be similar to card, it is not really a card. Okay, I can't really find an example of card, but it doesn't really matter. I'm sure you've seen something like this before on several websites. And then, that is just to tell you that you have those components in there. So you can just copy it and then, change the image, put in your image there, and then you also have the ability to re-edit the card, maybe change the background color and style and everything. So I'm sorry to, you know, um, yeah, I think that it is necessary to say that it is impossible for you to become a full-time or a professional web developer in the space of 2 weeks. But however, with what we've been able to do in this program so far, by now you should know the basics and then the foundations, you know, and you can start to look at those online resources to get you going. Again, we are a community now, guys. If there's anything you're struggling with, please feel free to reach out to me or any of the instructors, and then I'm very sure we would be more than happy to mentor you through and then help you resolve those issues. So the carousel is there. There are several other components as well that you can find useful for your future projects. But you need to learn CSS and learn Bootstrap fully before you start going into one of this anyway. So I think that is the last thing. I just want to make you aware that the components are there and how you can incorporate them into your code. So Lawan is asking a question, but how can we ask questions later just in case? Okay, so for you to ask questions later just in case, at the end of this program now, so I think today's class is going to be the last class for the program. We are going to open the community group, and then we are going to have a live question and answer as well. Sometimes within this week, maybe on Monday or Tuesday, we are going to have a live question and answer where we are going to tell you how to go about the final project, and how to deliver the final project. We are going to focus on talking about the final project um, from from this week. From this week we're going to focus on talking about the final project, advise you, and then we are going to try to open the community WhatsApp group so you can ask your questions back to back as well. And what maybe most people don't know is that we the instructors are also in the community WhatsApp group. We are part of the group admins, So you can message us directly, and although we may not be able to respond immediately because there are several other things going on, but at some point we'll get back to you and then advise you or help you solve your problem. So that's it, guys. That's how you can get these things done. It has been a very long class, but I'm happy that if you learned nothing at all from this class today, at least you learned the CSS grid system, whereby I explained that every device screen is splitted into four boxes, and then each box makes up one unit, and you based on those units you can determine how you want your layout to be. So I'm happy that if anything at all in today's class, at least you learned that one, and trust me, that is going to take you far when you want to learn further. So thank you for watching, guys. Don't forget to like the video, don't forget to subscribe. It's been a lovely journey. What I'm going to do right now is that I'm going to build that Paga website, one pager website for you guys, because I know you're going to really struggle building it yourself. So I'm going to build it for you guys, and even if you can just re-edit it yourself, that has a long way of telling us that you've been able to learn something. Um, throughout the course of this program, you've been able to learn something, because someone who have not learned anything at all would not know how to edit. Would not know how to edit the code. So for you to be able to edit the code, then that means that you learned something in the program. So thank you, guys, and it's been a lovely journey so far. And I look forward to seeing your final projects, and I wish you guys all the best. Bye, guys. Have a good evening, and stay blessed.